Welcome to Charts Today. My name's David Linton, and today's edition for Friday, the 30th of October, comes to you from London. And the big thing is really we're seeing big moves on the futures down this morning, so that's going to be quite key at the US opening. But US dollar has had a pretty strong week, and we are just seeing that short-term bullish trend continuing. My weekly chart's my long-term view, my daily is my medium-term view, and my 60-minute chart is my short-term view. And we are just seeing here that the dollar is looking like it has put in a low. If we look at the euro against the dollar, we see that euro has been sinking lower as well. Taking a look at sterling, we're sitting at 129.50 against that stronger dollar, so it's just been a little bit of a weaker week for sterling. But against the euro, we've held around this 111 level, so sterling has just had a little bit of strength since the lows of September. It's managed to climb back. Bitcoin sitting at $13,280, so that's still looking pretty bullish. It's had a very good run this month, and we are now seeing multi-year highs. The S&P 500 index was up yesterday, but it is going to give up all that ground today by the looks of the futures, and we do see here we have got a very big down candle week. In fact, probably the biggest since we've seen since June, and that failure to make a new top is the worry. The difference in June is we did go on to make a new high. Will we be able to do the same? This is a bit more of a consolidating pattern, and that failure to make a new high, this low is what we have to watch now. The lower low would be very bad for the market. We are bearish below the cloud, of course, and we've got downside potential of some 17%. We've got another target here, 12% lower. The Nasdaq 100 index we're seeing also was lower last night, and it's of course still bearish below the cloud. And if we look at the Dow Jones, we were up, but again we expect to give up most of that today. It's all about these futures. We're seeing the S&P future down over 1%. It has been lower than that, so we are seeing the E-mini lower. And if we look at the Nasdaq future, that's also lower, so looking like a bad start to the day. The VIX volatility is up some 3%, so that's quite key. We're sitting around this, hovering around this 40 mark. We've said above 30, the fear X is worrying for the market. When above 30, we're now nudging 40, so that's even worse. The FTSE future is flat this morning in the UK. The DAX cash market is down slightly, and the CAC Courant is up slightly. All eyes really awaiting the US. Japan was down 2%. The Hang Seng was down by a similar amount, and China was down by 1.5%. Asian markets basically fell across the board. The Aussie market and the Indian markets down not so much. Gold sitting at 1875, still in short-term bearish territory, but it's up this morning, so that will be interesting. And we're seeing 10-year yields just climbing that little bit higher, getting back into the 80s, but 0.82%. So we are just seeing bond yields climbing. The energy mix this morning, crude's had a terrible week, and we are just seeing a little bit of recovery off this around $37 mark this morning. But we do now have these downside targets baked in. We've got a downside target to $30, and that's where we're looking to for Brent crude. WTI sitting at $36, and again, new lows there would be bad. We're trying to recover a little bit this morning. US nat gas sitting at $3.31 on the front month contract. So we had a contract roll this week, of course, and RBOB is actually just flat, but it's had a terrible week, breaking to new, much clearer lows than the oil price, so gasoline prices are really looking very bearish. Coal is down nearly 1%, that's going lower. Emissions down 1.3%, that's also looking like we might test new lows there. We've got downside targets. And then gas markets are down quite heavily this morning as well. Not enough to change the MBP chart, but Dutch gas certainly has gone into short-term bearish territory, the whole energy mix falling there. And if we look at the seasonal contract, we're seeing there as well that we're falling lower. Gazprom also has had a pretty bad week as well, so we're seeing that going lower. Looking at German power, we're down 1% this morning to 37.20. Really now looking back to these lows set in May around 35. We've got targets to that 35 area, 1 to 37, which we're getting close to. And on the 1 minute chart, we're seeing lots of downside, so German power selling off. And the quarterly contract as well, sinking lower, of course, with the downside downside targets. And if we look at Nordic Power, that is up this morning, but boy oh boy, we've been making multi-month lows here as well. If we look at the daily chart for Nordic Power, we're going back to levels not seen this year, so that is showing just how badly power markets have been hit, and the same on the quarterly contract. Looking last of all at UK Power, it's seen a little bit of a sell-off this week, but it has held up better on the seasonal contract, but it too might be turning. Keep an eye on those levels and on your OTC prices, of course. That's it for today. Until Monday, have a great weekend. Happy charting. See you then.